Now, in the wake of soft coup recruitment efforts by retired generals, Defense Secretary Gibo Teodoro has warned of the consequences of a military junta akin to Myanmar, saying it would leave the Philippines isolated and in economic crisis. Some observers say that a similar template was used in 2001, when then Military Chief General Angelo Reyes was persuaded to withdraw his support for President Joseph Estrada, leading to his ouster and Gloria Macapagal Arroyo's inauguration. But Romeo Brawner has also said the military's long memory of past military uprisings in the 1980s and 1990s have made today's armed forces more resistant to political adventurism. So, Dr. Shen, let me ask you, do you agree, I mean, from what you can see from Taiwan, do you agree with Brawner's assessment about today's military, that it's hardened against this kind of military adventurism, political adventurism?
Yes, I think this his assessment, because Taiwan also has a similar experience like this. We know that when President Chen Shui-bian era in Taiwan, we also have the soft coup. Because some retired general try to influence active general to resign and for the president, Chen Shui-bian, to change his policy and not move to the Taiwan independence. But we know during that time, our Chief of General Staff, Tang, also leave his job because he said he is sick, is not comfortable, and resign. And then also forced President Chen Shui-bian to face this very serious situation. But I will mention that Taiwan, the democratic development is very good because some soldier or small soldier take this action will not affect that Taiwan democracy because many Taiwan people already know that the importance of the democracy. And most of the military officer is a professional officer. They know they are not your ideology. They are not your pro-China or pro-Green, pro-Taiwan thinking. It's because of military nationalization. So military cannot intervene in the political development or democratic development.
And Renata, this is exactly what Romeo Brawner has said about the Philippines, isn't it? They are apolitical, they are loyal to the Constitution. Do you think that, you know, the democratic norms are fully entrenched and that they are immune to this kind of thing happening?
I would look at it in terms of the process. Of course, when you go back to what happened in 2001 during what was called then the sort of withdrawal to support, you have to factor in the armed forces of the Philippines really has always been seen as sort of interventionist, coup-prone, primarily because of its focus on internal security. That has been the case for a very long period of time. Of course, dramatic changes had happened recently. The fact that the armed forces now is gearing for external defense. So it's moving away from internal security. That's why it has to inculcate values of professionalism. And as a statement, you know, an AP statement came out, we're more concerned with what's happening now in the South China Sea and what's happening, of course, in terms of the corruption. The orientation of the armed forces of the Philippines is geared towards external defense, which, of course, it looks at a bigger, greater power as the quintessential security threat to Philippine national security.
You're talking about China there?
I mean, obviously, that's China, yes.
So does the psychological scarring of, you know, martial law in the Philippines, the coups, what does it contribute? Does it make the armed forces stronger?
I think they have moved away from that paradigm. You know, again, we have to give credit to Secretary Gibo Teodoro and, of course, President Marcos, when he, you know, in 2024, when Secretary Gibo Teodoro said, it's time for us to shift to external defense, we have the comprehensive archipelagic defense concept, President Marcos immediately agreed with him. We have to shift the orientation of the Philippines away from internal security to external defense. Hopefully, this would provide the armed forces of the Philippines a new paradigm in terms of how it looks at itself, how it looks at its relationship, of course, with the civil society and the Philippine government.